Erev Tov to everybody. We want to thank David and Esther Fried for sponsoring this Dvar Torah, Parsha Tetzaveh, and it's for a wonderful occasion for the engagement of Malka Miriam to Gal Raphael Ktoshim. What a wonderful way to start off Chodesh Adar and the whole period of Purim with this wonderful simcha of the engagement. And Bezat Hashem, that the young couple should have a lot of nachas, and you should have a lot of nachas from them. And that Shem Yisku live not bait man binyan adei ad. As I say, what a wonderful way to start off the Chodesh Adar. Actually, this recording is taking place now on Thursday night. We've already, as the Yud Dalet Adar Aleph, it's the 14th of Adar Aleph, the first Adar. So it's known in the halacha as Purim Katan, the minor Purim. Because when there's no leap year, we know that Purim is on the 14th of Adar. So now when there's a leap year, so the month beforehand is called the minor Purim on the 14th of Adar. And the question that the Gemara and the Mishnah and Masechet Megillah, or what Mishnah and the Gemara and Masechet Megillah deal with, what is the status of this minor Purim? It's called Purim Katan. How do we look at this Purim Katan? In the Gemara, there are two opinions. What is the main Adar? Is it the first Adar? Or is it because the minute Adar comes in, we don't pass over an opportunity to do the mitzvot, so we should actually read the Megillah on Adar Rishon? Or is the main Adar the second Adar, which is joined to the month of Nisan? And in the end, we all know that we read the Megillah and do Matanot Levyonim and do the other mitzvot on the second of Adar. The second, that's the main Adar. And the Gemara says that the logic or the rationale for it is because we want to join the miracles, the hidden miracles of Adar, which is the last month of the year, to the open miracles, which occurred on Nisan, the first month of the year. So we want to connect Purim and Pesach together. So that's why we make the celebrations basically on the second Adar. But in the Shulchan Aruch, the last law of the Shulchan Aruch of Orach Chaim, the laws that deal with the daily laws, the laws of festival, Shabbat, etc. So the last Chag of the year, starting from the month, is Purim. So over here, there is a machloket, there's a difference of opinion. Do we make, what exactly do we do on Purim, the minor Purim, the Purim that we're celebrating tonight, Thursday night, and tomorrow on Friday the day? So, okay, we don't say Tachnun, but the Ramah, he says that there is those people that what they do is יש אומרים שחייב להרבות במשתה ושמחה ביום טוב בי"ד שבאדר ראשון. There are those opinions, the opinions of the Tosfotim, Rabbi Cheomi Paris, who says that on Purim Katan, it is such a special day. It's not the main Adar, but what we should do is we should have like a festive meal. We don't read the Megillah, we don't do Matanat Levyonim, but something we should do, and what we should do is to have a festive meal, an extra meal, like in this year on Friday. Then the Ramah says, but that's not our custom. Our custom is that on the minor Purim, we don't have a special meal. We don't have like a Yom Tov meal. And then the Ramah says, but even though that is so, that's not the minhag, mikol makom yarbek tzat besuda. But a person should have like an extra croissant, whatever it is. A person should be marbe. He should have something extra special on Purim Katan. right? Kedei latzeit yedei machmirim, to fulfill the obligation or to fulfill the opinion of those who are strict that really on Purim Katan we should have a proper extra festal meal. And then the Ramah ends off with part of a verse of Mishlei, V'tov leiv mishteh tamid. He says a cheerful heart will always have a festive meal. Okay, so that's how he ends off the book of Orach Chaim. I wanted to just explain. I wanted to explain maybe this a little bit, the significance of having this meal. How do we define it? I'd like to define it in this way, that the Chatam Sofer says that actually the basis of the holidays, they are rabbinic holidays, but the basis of the holidays of Purim and of Chanukah, they are actually they in their essence they are D'oraita holidays. Now, what exactly does it mean when he says that the essence is a D'oraita holidays, as if they are written in the Torah, but the mode, the way in which we celebrate these D'oraita holidays were prescribed by our sages. They're rabbinic. But at the root, they are D'oraita. So the Chatam Sofer, it's a very famous, well-known Chatam Sofer, is that the Gemara says that, like, concerning saying Hallel on Pesach and Purim, the Gemara makes the following statement: if we find that we have to celebrate and say Hallel on Pesach because God took us out from slavery into freedom, how much more so is it an obligation to thank Hashem and to give Him praise and to celebrate when Hashem took us out and He redeemed us from life, from death to life. In Purim, there was a threat of the Jewish people, Chalila, being annihilated. And Hashem rescued us. He brought us salvation via Esther and Mordechai, and that we came from the clutches of death to life. So if from slavery to freedom, that requires that what we do is we thank Hashem and that we say Hallel, and this is already a form of D'oraita. How much more when it comes to being rescued from death to life? So that's why he's saying the root of Purim and of Chanukah is where there was a life and death threat on the Jewish people. So we've got an obligation when saved to celebrate. Now, the Torah, because Purim and Chanukah didn't happen at the time of the Torah, so of course, how are we going to celebrate it? How are we going to acknowledge this thanksgiving to Hashem from saving us from death to life? That was prescribed by the rabbis. In the case of Chanukah, the rabbi said, our sages said, the way to commemorate and to celebrate is through lighting Chanukah candles. In the case of Purim, it's through all sorts of things, reading the Megillah, Matanot Levyonim, Mishloach Manot, etc. So there's some people who define this requirement on Purim Katan. Correct. We're not celebrating it as it should be, because the main celebrations are the second Purim, the second Purim, which is on the 14th of Adar Sheni. But at the root of Purim Rishon is the realization that God saved us from death to life, and that celebration or that awareness. What we should do is we should acknowledge, if not reading the Megillah, if not like learning, but at least that's the root of the opinion that says, so make a special festive meal. Make a special festive meal to acknowledge that the D'oraita aspect of Purim Katan, and that is that on the 14th, there was a salvation from death to life, which makes it, because it's a kal vachomer, because this logic is based on a kal vachomer, a how much more so argument. And where there's a how much more so argument, that's one of the 13 interpretations of the Torah, Yud Gimel Midot. So that's why, that's the basis for this meal. So again, we trying to understand, why do we have to have this meal? Some people say we have to have the meal because the main celebrations of Purim, that's that opinion, is on the first Adar. There's some people say that you don't have to do a meal at all because the second celebration is actually on the second of Adar. And now we're explaining those who say that the Ramah says, well, you know what? Try to be machmir a little bit. Try to do something. So what is the basis of the something? What are we just trying to make a compromise? It seems to be that at the end, and so some people explain as well, the Achronim, the root of the Ramah is trying to say, and correct, it's not the formal celebrations which are rabbinic, which taking place on the second of Adar, but it's a fulfillment of the acknowledgement on the Doraita level that Hashem did this great salvation to us. And what he did is he rescued us from the clutches of death, from the plans of Haman, and he brought us and he saved us to life. That's why we have this extra Seudah. So Bezrat Hashem, just like in the days of then, so in our days, HaKadosh Baruch Hu should continue to bring us a total salvation, that all that we should be totally and absolutely victorious, like we speak about in the prayers, Keter Yeshua, crown of salvation, a crown of victory, and that also that you totally vanquish our enemies, and that also just like then that the Chatufim, that our brethren who are cruelly have been kidnapped by the Hamas and be abetted by the others, that they should be set free and that they should come back to Eretz Yisrael Lidvulam b'simcha v'rina. So Shabbat Shalom l'kulam.